Hey there, this is singer-songwriter Lorenzo Walcott, and you're listening to Citywide Blackout Podcast. Are you ready for it? 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Stumbled into town, bright-eyed babe and a garden moon, and no one around. You can't choose a life you're given, you're only hitchhiking a ride. Write your own course if you have.
Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Max Bowen.
And I'm Curtis Hughes. Max, how's it going today, my friend?
It's balmy. It's very, very balmy out right now. You might have noticed, folks, if you happen to live in our area, actually, if you're anywhere in the U.S. right now, it's fucking hot.
It's very hot.
Yeah.
What do you got for a temperature over there?
I could not tell you. I would say somewhere in the 70s or 80s probably. And this is with an AC and a fan going. That's the best I can do.
How
about you?
So I'm around 100 degrees.
Damn. Okay, that's not healthy at all.
Yeah, so hopefully we don't pass out during the show.
But if you did, it would be honestly kind of epic because we never had someone pass out on the show for any reason at all.
That's true.
All right. But in the meantime, before you turn around and keel over, we have a great guest lineup for you guys. So this one comes to us from the one and only Sarah Blacker. Yes, that's Sarah Blacker. And this is a band called the Midnight Wrens, a New Hampshire-based band. Amazing stuff, great folky Americana stuff. You're gonna love the music. Trust me on this one. And joining us is the band's singer-songwriter and guitarist Tom Powley. Tom, welcome to the show, man. It's great to have you here.
Hey,
Welcome.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's hot up here too.
We're all hot. We're all gonna probably die in our homes.
Yeah. So Sarah Blacker, a great friend, great musician. It's fun. I know her through her husband. That's how we met. Through Aaron.
Cool.
I was just going to say, so Aaron was in, I was one of the original members of a band from the University of New Hampshire called Percy Hill. And then he came in a few years after and killed it in a great way, in a good way.
I was going to say, like he destroyed the band or just absolutely ruled?
He did quite the opposite.
Fantastic. We like to hear that. We don't like to, we don't really support murdering bands, so good to hear this.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We're in the business of promoting and helping build up, not the other way around.
Exactly. That's us. We're builders. We're not destroyers. But in the meantime, I think we've kind of built up to this first question. Now, of course, recent news is that the band has released its Songbird Collection EP. This is a collection of 5 singles, some amazing music. But I read that really each one, there are unique facets that each song touches on. Tom, could you tell us a little more about what those facets are?
Yeah. So the songs were, all obviously written separately, and some of them were even songs that I've been holding on to for a long time. So, some of them might represent points in my life, but a lot of them are also just stories where I just embellished and kind of elaborated more on a theme. But if you take the song, so there are 5 songs. There's Mona Lisa, Come Home, This Is Us, Lilac, and Still Remains. So, Mona Lisa is one of my favorites. It's sort of the it paints this vivid picture of this woman living a dual life, and almost locked away, and she sneaks away at night to be with her lover, and it's set in the countryside of Italy, and it just has a really special sense for me. It's just it also heard the iconic smile. Where no one knows why is she smiling. And so the mystery that I portrayed in this song is that it's because she's leading this dual life of, being in a castle and also having this nighttime lover. It's like a Phil Collins,
Yeah,
part-time
exactly.
lover. Is that him?
Yes. And I think we really all want that dual life, the kind of secret life no one knows about.
No one knows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe we do that already, actually. You never know.
Yeah.
We're not going to say so.
And then, yes. Shh, 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 shh.
I'm not like secretly a crime fighter. No, definitely not. Definitely not.
No.
So are you the international man of mystery?
That's yes. There's not much mystery about me, I'm afraid.
Oh, no?
No, straightforward. But you did mention Mona Lisa. That was definitely one of my favorite songs. I love just the very mellow flow of it, and
Yeah.
there really seemed to be like a lot behind it in terms of just the story. But you mentioned earlier that some of these songs you've kind of held on to for a while. When the time came to assemble them for this EP, did you do anything to kind of update them or change them, or was it just what it is what it goes?
No, for example, Still Remain, I wrote that as for a duo. That was, well, actually, I wrote it for myself, but then I collaborated with a woman, and it never got to where I wanted it. It never peaked. The story just never came. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. It wasn't fluid. And so I put it in the bottom of my guitar case. It's like the graveyard for these songs that every now, I dig up the graves and see what's in there when I get inspired by a new group of people. And this band that I'm playing with, there's a lot of, I think, talent, just a really good musicianship. And I think they could get it to where I want it to be. And so I took it out and I presented it to them in the original way that I did it and explained that, hey, I want to expand. And we just hit it and became what it is.
So my favorite tune of the EP is Come Home, naturally, because I kind of gravitate more towards the ballady type song.
Right.
And so I noticed that right immediately. And also I noticed that we have a different set of vocals on that track versus the other four.
Right. So Sue Fitzgerald is with me in the band. We started the Midnight Wrens together. And if I speak to the song first, she had a brother who passed away actually in his, I want to say probably early 20s. And it just tough growing up, just didn't get along well with his parents, did things he shouldn't have done. And just these internal struggles, right? And so she wanted to write a song for him, and she came to me with the chorus "Come Home," and then actually, you know what inspired that song too is we were listening to what are they called? Not Running Rivers. What is that band? It's like a male-female duo. I'll think of it. I think it's Running Rivers. Does that make sense? Anyway, we just liked the way that they traded back and forth. Originally, we would sing that back and forth, and then we harmonized the whole thing, and then we said, okay, let's just back off and you do this by yourself, because I think she gives it a nice delivery because it means so much to her. Yeah.
Was it originally going to be kind of like a duet sort of situation, or was it always meant to be female vocals for that?
I think when we first wrote it, it was going to be harmonized.
Mm-hmm.
And then I slowly backed off more and more. And it's funny. So Sue and I have known each other for about 15 years. We met because of same age children, and she never really was a performer. Like, she never went out and performed live. And so there was a confidence piece at first, like just going out to, open mics, and then graduating, gradually getting into like a bar scene where people are coming out to see you. And so there, like, that confidence piece was always it's always something that we're working on. And so getting her to sing a song on her own and do it was a tremendous feat. And I think it really panned out. I think it was a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I also noticed, speaking of that vibe there, you guys had recently opened up for Little River Band.
Yeah, that was just the other night.
Which was really cool at Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom.
Yeah, it was very cool because Sue and I probably as a duo, like with the band, we played larger venues before with the whole ensemble, but with just the two of us, we played probably maybe up to 100 seat places. And I would say that night there might have been it was a full house, like probably 1,800 to 2,000 there, which was nice. but it's just this new, it's funny. I just see this swagger in Sue now when she gets on stage. You know, you just get up there and your hair feels like it's standing on end, and everyone's paying attention and everyone's listening to every word and they're appreciating it. And then you thrive, then you know, feed off that and you put even more energy into it. And it just goes back and forth and gets better and better. So that was a great, great night. Yeah. We had a good time with that. And we played that song. Did we play Come Home that night? No, we didn't play Come Home that night. We played Lilac. Yeah. Which was another thing that she sings
very
off
good
the
one.
beat.
Yeah. Very good one. Yeah. Sue has a real amazing singing voice. I mean, just listening to her, like her sing was like, damn.
Yeah. It's very like calming, and she's got like a lower register, and yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, a bit kind of reminds you actually a little bit of Sarah, a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I can see why you would say that.
Yeah. You had mentioned earlier that you knew Sarah through her husband Aaron, and I'm kind of curious if you have ever had the chance to share a stage with Sarah.
I have, and the initial connection was because I have had a song. I like to collaborate with other people and interact, and I was hoping that I could get Aaron and Sarah to perform this song called "Trouble in Suburbia," you know, and just share it. But they're just so busy. I mean, they're just all over the place. And so then Aaron reached out to me and he said, "You know what? I'd like to revisit the Percy Hill songs that I had written, and also the ones that he had written." And also some that we've done with the other guys in the band, and we formed what was called the Ammonium Maze. And so Sarah was the lead vocalist with one of the lead vocalists with Danielle Lavasco. So we had two female vocalists, and all the Percy Hill tunes back in the day were all guys, right? And so then Aaron, who sang on a lot of the songs, didn't want to sing anymore. He wanted to sit back and just focus on drums. So the three of us would harmonize up front. There was also Dave Bruniak he was originally in Pink Talking Fish. Have you heard of that band?
Yeah.
And then Chris Sink. I think I got everybody. Oh, and John Hawes. John Hawes is one of the original bass players from Percy Hill. But anyway, so I got to perform with Sarah and write with Sarah, and her sense of harmony is so amazing. And she's such a nice person. So you can, you know, it's just, you can just take a song and turn it into something that you never anticipated it could get to. You know, it's really nice working with her.
Yeah. She was actually one of the original guests on the show way back when. And I forget how I came across her music. This is before Facebook and whatnot. So the old-fashioned ways, kids. The old-fashioned ways. But I thought, a big deal like her is never going to give me the time of day. But I said, Dad, I'll just email where she'll say us no. And she said, I would love to be on the show. And that was that. And she's been on several times over the years. So
yeah, as far as kind goes, she's right up there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She's an amazing person.
All right, but you guys also have a big show of your own coming up on July 25th. You're going to be playing at the Wood Barn Meadow in Exeter, New Hampshire. Tell us some more about that, because I know this is also you're partnering with the Exeter Brewing Company.
Right, so it's the Word Barn, and it's in Exeter, New Hampshire. Yeah, that's okay.
I can't read.
No, that's okay. I understand. I can't read either.
All right.
I don't have my glasses on. The Word Barn is a great venue run by Ben Anderson and his wife, and they just bring in national touring acts and just lifers, musicians, people from, he's originally from Canada. So a lot of musicians would come down from there, but he'll get the Wood Brothers came through there. It's just so many great bands that come through there. And Ryan Montbleu, do you guys know him? He's a mascot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was just there. I went there and saw him the other night. They have a meadow that you can sit out in, the fire going, and everything. It's great. Anyway, so going to play there, that's one of my favorite places to play in the area because it's just a great vibe, both inside and out. You can sit in the meadow or sit inside, and it holds about 100 inside and about maybe 150 outside. And did you guys get thunder and lightning down there?
Yes, we're getting that too, actually. I just kind of heard it. It's like, the hell?
Anyway, so I connected with the Exeter Brewing Company. They make these great beers, and I said, hey, I think I've got a good name for a beer. I love your beer. Everyone loves your beer. What do you think of the name Trouble in Suburbia? And they like to name it after things that exist in Exeter and the town of. And first, they weren't too keen on the name. And I said, what do you mean, Trouble in Suburbia? We live in suburbia, and it's just got a cool hook to it. And it's from an Exeter band. And then they finally came around, and I'm actually filming the process, from start to finish. And we're going to, put together a video. And then that night I'll have some merch, and we'll have the beer there on tap. And yeah, it's fun. Something, you got to keep, spice of life going with different things like that.
Yeah. So now you get to say that you've helped launch your own beer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I hope it's good. I haven't tasted it yet.
I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Also, Curtis, road trip.
Road trip, absolutely.
We're going this place.
Tell me, you guys up. You're in. You're on the guest list.
We were actually talking with our guest last week, Thomas Smith, about taking a road trip to a supposedly massively haunted place in North Carolina. But this looks like a lot more fun, as in we won't die.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great venue. You have, even just look at their events calendar and just find someone to come up and see. It's such a great spot.
The band's been around for several years. You guys obviously play a lot. Do a lot of gigs. What who does the booking for the band, and what are some of the favorite venues or frequent places that you like to play?
So we've been together since 2017. That was more as the duo. So there's around here we have some really great spots. We have the Stone Church in Newmarket. We have the Word Barn. We have the Music Hall in Portsmouth and the Music Hall Lounge. We have the Press Room we played at. Trying to think of other places right now, but they're escaping me. But those are, and then it was COVID right in the middle of that. So there was some interesting, we played on the back of truck beds, and we played at Sawbelly on the back of a truck bed.
I haven't heard that one, on the back of truck beds. Now that's a great,
Yeah. It was cool and I designed the poster, and I got a nice flatbed truck, and I put, musical instruments on it.
Now, was the truck moving, or were you guys?
No. But it's funny you should say that, because we talked about doing that, driving around and playing live and in and out of, the local area on the seacoast. So those are some of the prime venues that we've hit for sure. Oh, and then the Hampton Casino. The Hampton Casino is just its own thing, because it's just, you get a great crowd there. We played there with Old Crow Medicine Show a while ago. And then what was the other thing we did? Oh yeah, we played up in Guilford with Green Sky Bluegrass. Up there, it's more of a support. You have to say it a specific way, We supported Green Sky. We did not open. We supported them. Yeah.
Do you find it difficult to get into places, or how hard, I should say, was it initially to get into places like Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom, for example? And maybe some of the other venues around versus, Guilford, New Hampshire, because those are two very big venues, big areas,
It's hard. It really is hard. It's not like it used to be. Not to sound like an old man, but back in the mid 90s, I mean, you went out as a warrior, right? If you were a street warrior,
preach, keep it coming. Yep, keep going.
You get your street cred, and then people would be, and then you build your fan base, and and people would just believe you, with the numbers that you could pull in. But it's hard to do that because most of your connection now is through social media. So and you have to establish yourself that way. And then it's just, I've written many emails and gotten, it's so different than it was, and gotten, turned down so many times, but then I catch people maybe at a weak, or caught them at a weak moment, and and then you just develop, it's all about relationships. It always is about connecting with people. Some people want to come in, you got to love us. You got to love us. I love me. You got to let me in. But, it's just developing human connections with people, and then they'll give you a chance. And if you rise up to the occasion, you're in, right? And then you put that on your resume. And I said, one of the reasons I got the Old Crow Medicine Show gig was it was during COVID. And I called emailed the guy that does the booking, and I said, hey, we're looking for any opportunity to get in. He's like, you're not going to believe this. Yesterday, their touring band, their opener canceled. You guys are in. Boom. And I feel like we really knocked it out of the park that night and just established our relationship with this guy, and he was happy. And, so he calls me from time to time.
Excellent.
It was funny. One of the things with COVID was that I had an ulterior motive, I thought, well, let's go to all of the places that are closed right now. So the music hall, the Word Barn was closed, the Hampton Casino was closed, and I asked them if I could get in there and record my songs as if I was playing there, but on stage. And everybody was willing to let me do that. And that was sort of my foot in the door to get to know the people that do the booking or manage the facility. And it just started the conversation.
There you go, thinking outside of the box and continuing to keep knocking on those doors until somebody lets you in and says yes. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Enjoying the podcast? Get even more of the content you love from artists around the world on Citywide Bites. Experience the show live on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, only on Instagram. With our interactive short-form interview series, you can ask your questions and be a part of the action. Hosted by Max Bowen.
Well, of course, we have to give a shout out to the other members of this band. This is a 6-piece band, which is pretty awesome. Why don't you give a quick shout out to the members, who they are, what they do, and also how did you all meet?
Okay, so first I mentioned Sue already. Sue Fitzgerald loves music, has sung her whole life, but never was a professional performing musician. And we just met, as I said, through kids, and we started playing in my backyard with 2 guitars in the backyard, and then eventually ended up at open mics and just kind of went from there. And then I reconnected. I always wanted to play with Brian Killo, who was he's this fantastic guitarist, and the things that he's done with us so far doesn't even come close to showcasing his ability and his creative mind. And I met him, believe it or not, freshman year of college. He was in high school, and he was in a band called Groove Child. And in the summer, he and I shared a room, and we've known each other ever since. And then John Hawes, bass player, another mammoth musician. He's toured internationally. He's played with, if you name the person, he's rubbed elbows with. He's just a great bass player. Well, he played in a band, Moon Boot Lover at the time, back in the 90s, and then played with me and Percy Hill. And then the drummer, Andy Herrick, he was back in college as well. He played with his latest band was Assembly of Dust with they're a big band. They were a big band years ago, like Strange Folk, and they were in the jam scene. Assembly of Dust still plays from time to time, but he's out of the band now. He got out just to live his life. And then our keyboardist now is Max Chase, and he's a road warrior. He plays with everybody. I mean, you name the jam band on the circuit, and he is in it right now. Yeah, he's a great guy. Everybody, the nice thing about it is that as you get older, playing with people is that the ego is pretty much gone. Like, no, everyone's just, we're really friends. We're friends. Like, we're good friends. That hasn't always been my experience with music, and so it's really a nice thing to be in right now.
Yeah, and it also sounds like you really haven't had much in the way of lineup changes.
Yeah. There's been a couple, but it's been pretty smooth. Like, it's been a quick replacement, and the person that they were replaced with was probably a recommendation from the person that just wanted to move on, which was nice.
Yeah, I love it. I love the whole music community. If you say, "Hey, I need a drummer," your friends are going to know, like, "Oh, I know this person, this person, this person."
Yeah, that worked out well.
How do you think the band has stayed together all these years? What's sort of the secret sauce for, the Midnight Wrens being around for a while?
That's a good question. I think that at first it was just we received a lot of support from friends in the area. And then and I'm going to bounce back to COVID. I, not to pat myself on the back, but I've worked really hard to develop our presence online and in the community at a time when no one else was doing it. Everyone was hibernating, but I was like, no, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to take advantage of this. And, and I think that really helped grow. And, another piece is also just collaborating, like reconnecting with people that I've known for years and years, and just reaching out to them and checking in and saying, hey, you want to split a gig? What are you doing? Or you want to, do something. So I think it's just persistence. I think it's also being willing to change what you do, sort of adapt with the times. I know a lot of the songs that I've written are sort of that Americana folky. Some of them sound like jammy, like jam band, but I'm trying to move in a different direction. And I think that's what keeps it going too. Like I have a new album that'll be coming out probably in the fall that is going to be completely different than anything I've done.
What are some of the new directions that you've been able to pursue?
So one of the women that was in the Ammonia Maze that Aaron and Sarah introduced me to was Danielle Lavasco. She's 24 years old. She has an amazing sense of harmony, a beautiful voice, and she's just a great, fun person. And she's introduced me to, well, first of all, she recorded this song. I wanted to collaborate with her on something. And I said, well, is there any song that's you put together? And she sent me this version of her original song that the harmonies are like nothing you've ever heard before. I don't know if you know the band Fizz. Have you ever heard of Fizz? It's like this indie folk, almost theatrical, just really interesting harmonies. There's also Dodie, who is in the band. Everyone confuses Dido with Dodie, but it's just an amazing take on songs. And so I've collaborated with her, and I said, listen, I want my music to sound contemporary. I wanted to shift. And she and I sat down with my songs and came up with new rhythms, new chord progressions, altered the lyrics to suit her singing. She's going to sing, the lion's share of the songs, and I'll add in some harmony here and there. But it's going to be interesting. We're going to come out with about 5 songs is the plan. I think the album's going to be called Under the Wing, like I took her under my wing, something like that. Yeah.
I like that.
And just one other thing is that in the spirit of collaboration, I asked people with the 5 songs on the EP and extended it to even older songs. I reached out to some of my friends that are more instrumental minded, jazz musicians, or new age guitar sounds, and they're creating. I'm going to create an EP of probably about 7 songs coming out in the fall as well, of instrumental versions of Midnight Wrens songs. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds awesome.
Good.
Yeah, it's going to be different. Not a lot of people do that anymore, or I don't know anymore, do that. So it'll be nice. And I was happy that everyone was willing to do it.
I'm curious about when it comes to like new ideas and directions, is there a point where you say, you know what, I don't think we'll do X?
I don't want to go in a certain direction.
Yeah. Do you feel like the band needs to be like this or that, or is it more like wide open, we'll do anything?
I don't know. I kind of feel like, I'm building the plane as it goes sometimes, and I think you do need, for your fan base, I think, and I don't know if that matters, right? But you do have to have some consistency, predictability. Someone wants to come and see the Midnight Wrens. But if they have an understanding that the Midnight Wrens is this ever evolving band, I guess that's, there's no one way to do it, right? But I can say that if someone brings me an idea and I don't like it, no, we're not going in that direction. Sorry. I try to say it nicely.
So I'm guessing we won't be able to look forward to the Midnight Wrens like country rap album.
No, and nothing against country, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Exactly. There you go.
So in terms
I
of
do like Chris Stapleton, huh?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, as far as country, Chris Stapleton, I can stomach that,
Sure.
That's some high praise.
Actually, he's very good. He's an amazing writer, singer, everything. Yeah, I can't even come close to a guy like that.
In terms of the band's evolution over the years since you guys first got together, what does the current EP represent to you?
Huh. Wow, that's a good question. I feel that in any past work that I've done, it's been more of a collaborative, everyone's chiming in with the direction that the song should go. And it was almost like a push and a pull, almost like a struggle. But with this new EP, I feel like I came with the words and the chordal structures, and everybody was just so willing and gracious enough to create what I had envisioned. And that's not to say that they didn't inject their own creative minds into it, but they really took the forms of what I had presented and just made them shine. Whereas before it was more of a collaborative, hey, you come up with this, you come up with that, and we'll put them all together and see what happens. But this was this group of people that I'm with are just, they're really like just top-notch people and musicians, and there's no ego. Like I said, it represents no ego, and this is what friends coming together can put out, I guess.
And is this like the vision that you had all along for the band, or has it like really changed from like when you first started this? Like you never really thought it was going to get to where you're at now versus when you began?
I definitely never thought. I thought it would be a duo, probably remain a duo. It definitely has gone. It feels. It's not. It's almost just an extension of who I am now. Like it's just when we first started out, it was like, hey, we're going to play music, and it's a really special occasion. But now this is just something that it's like eating and breathing. It's like, well, we're going to get together. We're going to make some songs. We're going to go out and play some music. And then we're going to go to a pool party. And then, we'll go out and play some more music. It just feels like an extension of my life now, which is really comforting. It's just,
I could see that.
Does that make sense? I don't know. Yeah. So this band has evolved into becoming more of just part of my life. Yeah. Extension.
And I just have to ask, is 6 people enough, or are we planning on going bigger in the future? What's the...
Well, it depends on the size of the stage. I would love, definitely there are times where I envision having a show that could have strings or could have horns or some dueling guitars or, something. You always have to keep it special. You try to create a special show. So down the road, that is a possibility. There could be more people.
Dueling cellos. Hear me out. Dueling cellos. It could work.
I think it could.
Actually, it's funny. I mentioned that because I did see an artist. His name is Matthew Thornton. He goes by Cello Monkey on Instagram, and he is a cello player. And he did a combination of like covers and some originals, and he was absolutely amazing. And he has some great control, just great like fluid motion. Hilarious between song banter too. The man knows how to work a stage. So definitely, folks, check out this guy, cello_monkey on Instagram. All kinds of great content is there. His videos, his music, everything. Check it out. But we are coming down to the end of this conversation, folks. A few more questions remain. Tom, I want to ask about the band's backgrounds, because they all have had previous projects before doing the Midnight Wrens. Do you feel like they're bringing any of that into this band, or is it more of a blank slate?
Definitely bringing stuff in. So Brian Killo has a heavy jazz background, gypsy jazz, classical guitar, but more jazz. This guy, he was a prodigy even when he was 18, 19. And I just remember sitting around parties, in college, everyone's drinking cheap beer, and he takes out his guitar, and we would play this game where you'd play 2 chords, and then then you play like G, C, D, right? And then you play 2 notes, and Brian would be like, oh, that's an A flat and F sharp. Like the guy was he had this, he could just hear everything. And he was right 100% of the time. And anyway, but he went on further to like, get schooled in music. He was always like a devoted student, and he still is. And he's a great teacher too. John, the bass player, same thing, just this amazing musical mind who can play everything from funk to, he was in a Journey band in the Philippines where he played Hawaiian music. He played with Mike Love. He played reggae. He played with Percy Hill. I mean, he has his library of information in his brain, and his ability to execute it is pretty amazing. So they definitely bring like a maturity to the music that I write that is really appreciated. Andy is just, he locks it down on drums. I mean, he is just a foundation. He is so willing to experiment. He's willing to take, tips, suggestions. I mean, but really he doesn't need him. He's a core. He's a rock back there. And then Max is fun. If you see Max on stage, you were talking about the cello monkey and his stage presence. I mean, this guy, Max, he's again, he has a library of information. He just knows so many songs and so many musicians, and he goes out there and he gets on stage and he lets it all hang out. I mean, he is shaking, he's standing, he's like screaming, it's like people just get turned on by him. And then Sue is just, she just has this calming presence. It's like this, just a kindness to her and authenticity. Like it's when people hear her sing, they just take her words are genuine, and that goes a long way. Yeah. And I don't want to leave out, on the album, there was also Duncan Watt. And Duncan Watt was a keyboardist, and he, again, versatile, huge library of information, a great performer, great creative mind. And he brought a lot. He has so much knowledge about music and how it fits together and how it should be fit together and what to feature, what not to feature. Like he really made that album sound like it does right now. And I'm going to just plug him right now. His studio is called Critical Electric Sound out of East Kingston, New Hampshire. And it's a gem. It's a hidden gem.
So I really did enjoy a lot of the Hammond organ style type of sounds that was going on the EP. So definitely agree. I always like to ask about the history or origins of the band. So I'm going to ask you about the name, the Midnight Wrens. How did that come to be?
There's no real special story to it. I think we just were bouncing around names, but I'm laughing because there's an ornithologist from Phillips Exeter Academy that lives across from me. He's all into birds, and he always gives me a hard time because there's no such thing as a midnight wren. And so he's like, I hate that name. And I said, well, this is what it is, Midnight Wrens. And I can't even remember back. I think we were just bouncing around names and it just stuck. Yeah, I should probably make up a story.
Well, hey, I've heard bands literally just like run their finger through the like encyclopedia or the dictionary and say, okay, first word I stop at now, that's our band name. That's it. It's sometimes it's as simple as that. So your story is very good, and maybe there is a midnight wren out there somewhere. You never know. Maybe there's some like rare species, and you guys will find it. You never know. All right, folks. Well, this is bringing the conversation to a close. Tom Powley, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure talking to you, learning about the band, amazing music. And folks, if you're not already doing this, we say it a lot, go do it now. Find this band on Spotify, the Midnight Wrens, WRENS. Check out the Songbird Collection. Out now, 5-track EP. It's really amazing. Find them on your socials, on the Instagrams. Everything's there. And certainly check out their shows. If you happen to be in the area of the Word Barn, see, I got it right this time.
You got it.
On July 25th, check this one out. There's going to be an IPA release, Trouble in Suburbia, with the Exeter Brewing Company. What time's the show happening at?
It starts at 7:00.
Excellent. So,
Hey, all you beer enthusiasts, get down there and check it out.
You like beer? You like music? What's not
Music?
to enjoy?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Curtis, I'm telling you, man, road trip. We're doing this.
Road trip.
Doing this.
Yeah.
Tom, thanks again, man, and definitely looking forward to the next conversation.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
And we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
And with that, we bring this episode to a close. Thanks for listening, and if you haven't already, check us out on Facebook under Citywide Blackout, and Twitter and Instagram under Citywide Max. You can catch this and all your favorite episodes on your favorite podcast platform, and new episodes are added every week, as well as on Boston Free Radio every Saturday at 10 p.m. You get at me at citywidemax@yahoo.com if you want to suggest a guest, submit your music, or just drop us a line. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
There's a town outside of Napoli, hidden in a grove of olive trees. Under a sunburned sky that's diamond clear is a woman praying on her knees. And she never feels more at peace than when she sneaks away to those olive trees, finds her lover in the dark, and her pulse inside is beating wild to the rhythm of his heart. Feels good to smile, don't it, Mona Lisa? Hurts so good inside, it eats ya up alive. Hide away behind a half smile. Lost is just her state of mind. She frequents to pass away the time. Rides her wagon down the running road deliberately to loosen up her load. When she sneaks away to those olive trees, he comforts her like a wayward sheep back home from the rocky hills. And he holds her head in his gentle hands, runs his fingers through her jet black hair. Feels good to smile, don't it, Mona Lisa? Hurts so good inside, it eats ya up alive. Hide away behind a half smile. Stone by stone, tear this building down, build it back up to the sky. Stone by stone, foundation strong and sound. No tragedy to this fairy tale, no castle locked away on a hill. No dungeon escape from no dragon or any hero to kill. Every night her body floats above the trees beyond the moat. Her lover waits with endless hope, waiting for his chance to be reunited with his Mona Lisa. It feels good to smile, don't it, Mona